The depressed stock market has been especially depressing for STNE. I will explore more what I mean with this in this video. We will take a look at some historical data as compared to the latest quarterly earnings. So we will compare here in the end of 2020 for the full year here basically. The stock was trading at about $80. We will take a look at how was the numbers then and compare them to quarterly numbers right now when the stock is trading just slightly below $14. Is this reasonable? Well, yes, given current market sentiment, but according to common, logic and common sense, well, in my opinion, it's off, and that's the reason I bought into this stock when it was trading slightly above 10, and I think that it has the potential to go a lot higher given how the numbers are looking for this company. So in macro trends here, we can take a look at STNE's annual revenue in millions of American dollars. In this case, they report in the Brazilian currency in their quarterly earnings reports, so it's quite difficult to compare numbers. And we also need to take into consideration how much stronger the dollar has gotten recently. This is really weakening the results of a lot of major companies as they're reporting revenue coming from abroad, from smaller currencies, and the smaller currencies are just not worth as much anymore. However, here we can see for the full year, this is in millions of American dollars, $644 million total in revenue. That's just a strong result, and then we continue to see growth after that into 2022. However, stock was trading at $80 here at the end of the year 2020, and then if we look at the earnings statement here, we can see in terms of year-over-year growth here for the quarter, we can see that total revenue and income grew by 25%. So it's looking like it's going to be another strong year for 2023 once we get the full yearly number up there in macro trends to compare as well. All right, what about profitability? Well, net income for the period up by more than 100%, and you can see here the profit before income taxes, so earnings before taxes, EBT, also up slightly above 100%. So we're seeing growth, we're seeing profitability, and we're seeing this trend that we can look back on as well. You can see here for recent quarters, 500, almost 600 American dollars just for that quarter. 500 again, and then we see another strong quarter that's not yet been uploaded to macro trends, in this case the third quarter of the year. So we're seeing a strong trend in revenue growth, and we're seeing strong profitability from this company that both Warren Buffett and Cathie Wood has invested in. Warren Buffett via the investing company Berkshire Hathaway, and Cathie Wood via one of her fintech ETFs. I don't remember the exact name of, they call it ARK-E and ARK-T and whatever it might be, but the fintech one has invested into this company. So we're seeing strong numbers, but we're not yet seeing a reflection of this in stock price. Stock price has really been flat, even in this environment of increasing interest rates. It's gone basically nowhere. But once again, patient is the key virtue in this case, and we really need to wait for stocks right now as money exited the stock market more into bonds as rates went up, and investors could park their cash there and get a nice risk-free rate. There was no need to chase returns as much as we saw in the past, and one extreme example of chasing returns will be all the venture capital we saw being pumped into WeWork, for example. But those days are clearly over, as you see from the depressed stock price of STNE in this case. Is it reasonable? Well, I don't think so, in my opinion. I think that the stock price is very undervalued right now, and that it will continue to go higher once the market gets some positive macro news. And if they continue to deliver this type of strong numbers, just look at the price to earnings ratio in this case of 21. So they're priced at 21, and they have this revenue growth that's a lot stronger than average revenue growth. It's quite a lot better than, you know, the S&P 500 that's trailing at a PE around this in a lot of cases. However, once again, it's a lot like comparing apples and pears in this case, given that this company operates in Brazil, South America. It's a lot higher risk, and we're never going to see those high price to earnings ratios that are in the case of European and American stock, given the baked in risk of operating in an emerging market. However, I don't think you need to do a lot of analysis to realize that this cash-based economy will start to utilize credit cards a lot more in the future. And in that scenario, well, then StoneCo is positioned well as the company who's selling the payment solution terminals. And as we can see from the statement here, they're also leasing. When we take a closer look at some of the other slides, we can see that they're leasing out equipment, and you know, as an investor, it's quite nice to look at that, to see that they don't just sell a product, they're basically leasing it out, so the customer don't really own it. It's more like a service, and you can predict cash flows from that. And if we look at the cash flow portion higher up in the earnings report, we can see that they're commenting on the fact that they're generating positive cash flow. Just take a look at slide 4 here from financial highlights. We can see substantial growth in this case from the cash generation, and the type of operating model of leasing is, you know, a very popular one right now among companies, and that's clearly contributing to this type of result that we're seeing from StoneCo. All right, that's been it, commenting on this latest earnings report, showing you the 25% growth year over year, comparing the quarters in revenue, as well as the 100% increase in the profitability metric. So with that, I think it's quite safe to say that they've ridden out the storm they was in related to credits in the past. They seem to have made a nice recovery. And I think that we just have to wait for the market to be more positive in general. And then, in my opinion, I really hope that this stock will take off as well, because it's been a slow ride waiting on returns from StoneCo. It's been going sideways for quite some time now. Alright, that's been it for this video. And as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.